Black Friday. That's right. It is Black Friday 2020, a day we've all been waiting for. It's an exciting day. Everybody loves a little bit of Black Friday in their life, but we've got an incredible episode of Hashtag Rise and Grind for you today. Can't wait for you to join me. Get on up in here.
Alex, what are you doing today?
I'm writing out my Christmas list today.
Me too! What do you have on your list?
I'm asking for one of the new Rise and Grind 2021 planners.
Me too! That's number one on my list. Are you doing the full size or the quarterly size?
I think I want the new purple quarterly. It's much lighter.
I've also added some of that new gear. Have you seen the new hats?
And t-shirts.
And those sweatpants?
And the sweatshirts.
And the new Rise and Grind coffee?
Oh no, we need to go make the announcements.
Hey guys, it's Jessica and Alex here, and we've got some announcements for you before Glenn gets here today.
First things first, planners are ready for pre-sale right now. They're already live on the website. If you get your planners before Thanksgiving, you will get Glenn's signature in it. We have a couple new colors this year and new sizes as well.
There's a planner in the house. There's a planner in the house. Get to riseandgrind.com and get your planner in your house. Oh. Don't forget to head over to glenlundy.com and check out all the new gear for the winter lineup. We've got new sweatpants that are awesome, new sweatshirts, new t-shirts, and new hats.
And we're so excited because we finally came out with Rise and Grind coffee. We're so excited about it. We've got coffee mugs, tumblers, and gift bags as well.
Speaking of gifts, I know who's not going to be on Santa's naughty list this year, and it's all of you guys in Hashtag Rise and Grind community.
Because you guys were able to help us raise over $8,000 this year for My Pink Navigator during the month of October.
Speaking of the community, Rise and Grind is now going to be on at 5:30 a.m. and 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And if you guys want to stay connected at all times, make sure you text Glenn at 859-208-2351, and he will keep you updated on show times, random motivational messages, anytime gear drops, and things like that.
And giveaways. Oh look, Glenn's here. That's all from us.
Let's go mail out our Christmas list.
Good morning and welcome to Hashtag Rise and Grind. I am your host, Glenn Lundy. I am a husband to one, a father to seven, and the creator of what is going to be the #1 most watched morning show in the world. It is 5:30 a.m. and I hope that you are ready to rise and grind.
Good morning. How are you, my friend? Dude, today is Friday. That's right, Black Friday to be exact. Today is Friday, November 27th, 2020. And what's crazy is today is the very first and the very last time it'll ever be Friday. November 27, 2020. So I want to make sure we make the absolute most, and I do mean the absolute most, of this absolutely incredible day. I am Glenn Lundy, host of Hashtag Rise and Grind. I am also the creator of the Hashtag Rise and Grind group on Facebook, the only place on Facebook that you can guaranteed to only get motivation, education, inspiration. You ain't going to get no other junk in there. So if you're not already a member of the Hashtag Rise and Grind group, make sure you come join us. We're about 30,000 members strong right now and climbing, and we would love to have you. There's always room for one more. Listen, I hope that you had an amazing Turkey Day yesterday, right? Good old Turkey Day. We had a deep fried turkey over at the Lundy house. It was delicious. So I hope you had an amazing Turkey Day. And I mean, there's just something powerful about Thanksgiving, right? The food, the family, the fun, well, I guess there was kind of some football on yesterday. I don't know. I mean, was that really football? I guess it depends on where you grew up or something. So, but it was fun, right? It was a great day. And this week, that's kind of what we've been talking about is this idea of like just giving thanks, right? Giving thanks and being grateful and for all the opportunities that we do get. I mean, I am so thankful for my family, man. My big, incredibly, massively loud family that I have with all these little babies everywhere, right? But I am so grateful for that. And that's what we've been talking about all week, this idea of giving thanks, how every single culture and civilization, as far as we can go back, they've always had some way to say thank you, right? Every language uses these two words because gratitude is just such a powerful component of life. See, it's one of the most powerful energies that you can possibly have in your life. Even if things are maybe going a little bit crazy, when you can find gratitude in that, it's powerful. Even though there's evolutions and battles that go on in the world, when you can find gratitude in that, it changes things. See, gratitude, these words, thank you, are really the catalyst to joy. And joy is the catalyst to hope. And hope is the catalyst to an abundant life. You see, there's a guy who really understands this, my man, Swisher. He's going to be joining us today. Stephen has turned his I wanted to say seekingness, but that's not even a word. But he has sought out this idea of happiness, right? He just loves happy, and he's turned this into a business. So Stephen owns Happy People Coffee, and what they're all about, they're a company that is committed to creating happy people, happy kids, happy communities, happy tummies, a happy planet, right? And happy people together. That's what Stephen's all about. And so I'm going to introduce you to him today. He's got an incredible story that he's going to share with us. We're going to bring him in here in just a second. But before we do that, you know what we got to do on this show. You know what we got to do. That's right. We got to dance a little bit. This is a morning show. It's a morning lifestyle. We got to have a little energy. Got to get a little pick-me-up. Got to get the heart going, right? Got to get the blood flowing. That's what it's all about. So we do a little dancing here on #RiseAndGrind. And listen, for those of you that know, and those of you that don't know, this is the part of the show where I need you to hit that share button. That's right. I need you to hit that share button because I believe if we can change the way people start their day, it'll make a massive impact on this planet. I truly believe that. And sometimes all it takes to change the way somebody starts their day is for you to hit that share button. That's right. This is also the part of the show where I'm going to say good morning to you, and I want you to say good morning to me. Whether you're watching live or you're watching on replay, say what's up. I'll say what's up back. How you doing, Don Sankey? What's up, John Colton-Born? I see Mike Higdon is in the house. Kristen Hawk Tibbs is up in here. She's always such a light. I love seeing her. What's up, Anita Hill? We got Wes Storm in the house. Jeff Baker's in the house. Tabby Negrin is in the house. Mr. Diamond Ray Hasher. What's up, Mary Lynn Wilkins? How you doing, John Colton-Born? Janelle Griego's up in here this morning. Cindy Conley Ratkovich is in the house on Black Friday. What's up, Jeremy Nolan, Brian Eden, Laura Berman, Terry Collins, Eddie Brown, Suzanne Waugh. Everybody's up in here on #RiseAndGrind. Hey, while we're doing these announcements, I gotta let you guys know, dude, 20% off everything at riseandgrindgear.com today only. We got these new mugs that are amazing. The new camo hat. Dude, you gotta check that sucker out. Check this out. These new quarterly planners, they're in. We got the quarterly planner in. Dude, this thing is awesome. Travel size. It's got week at a glance, month at a glance, all that stuff right there. They're so cool. We got super hard covers on them now, right? A much thicker hard cover than we had in the past. We got the true purple, or you can get the aqua. The big planters are in. All that stuff's here, and everything's 20% off today only. Jackets, hats, hoodies, and of course, the new Riseandgrind coffee that we're going to talk a little bit about today with my man Steven from Happy People Coffee. So I want you to do some shopping. Go get some gifts for your family members. Get that Christmas shopping knocked out right now. Riseandgrind gear. It's not just some clothes. It's a lifestyle, right? It's a lifestyle. So you might as well save some money on it. Just saying. You're going to buy it anyway. Might as well go buy it today. Let's dive in. Steven Swisher, Happy People Coffee in Paris, Kentucky, right there in the backyard. My man, I heard while I was doing the announcements, I heard someone was trying to knock on your door. They were trying to come in and get some coffee this morning.
Actually, somebody needed a screwdriver to help fix their bike so they could get to work.
Dude, that's amazing. God works in crazy ways. You just happened to be in there this morning to make sure you had good internet and there was somebody in need. How cool is that?
Yeah, I'll send him on his way with some coffee too. Why not?
Yes, why not, man? Steven, introduce yourself. Tell me a little bit about Happy People Coffee this morning.
I'm Steven Swisher. I'm owner of Happy People Coffee right here in Paris, Kentucky. And, I created this because everybody drinks different kinds of coffee. And probably there's no greater variety than how people take their coffee. And so I built a coffee company around making sure that we could make everyone happy. But it's not just about making everybody happy by making sure they have the right coffee or the right tea or anything like that. It's about making sure that every aspect of their lives, we can help wherever we help, whether it's about making happy kids, making happy communities, making sure that we're happy together, which is our diversity program, or making sure that we have a happy planet. All of those kinds of things are the values that surround Happy People Coffee, and they're really all part and parcel about why I built it.
Love it, man. Talk to me just a little bit. So your shop, so you've got the shop there in Paris, downtown Paris, Kentucky. When you walk into the place, the aromas are ridiculous. It smells amazing. And you were telling me this. There are how many different types of coffee do you have in that shop?
Well, including Riseandgrind Light and Riseandgrind Dark, I think that we're up to about 56, maybe 57.
57 different types of coffee. And teas too, right?
And yeah, we have over 36 different loose leaf teas that we offer and a lot of different kinds of coffee mugs and coffee products and things like that. Yep.
Sure. And this is coffee from all over the world, right? These beans they're coming from everywhere.
I source essentially all organic, fair trade, mostly shade-grown coffee beans from all across the globe. We have at least 3 different coffees from Indonesia, 3 from Africa, 3 from Central America, 3 from South America, Mexico, all over the place. We get coffee from about 18 different countries. Yeah.
Wow. Coffee from 18 different countries. I love it. So you are so passionate about coffee and Happy People Coffee and the concept that you're building, that you're creating, and the impact that it has in other people's lives. You're so passionate about it. Every time I talk to you, your passion just runs through. So where does that passion come from?
When I grew up, my parents drank instant coffee out of the microwave. It was terrible. And when I discovered that there was amazing coffee out there, it completely changed my culinary life and my morning routine and everything that there was to know, because I love great things to eat. We all just got done with Thanksgiving, and so we're literally just sitting around the kitchen table and we have or dining room table, and we have all this amazing food, and we love it because it's fantastic. That goes to our tea and our coffee and everything that we do. But it's also like an enormous passion. So we have to affect everything that we can all the way around us. And that has to be part of what we do. I feel a great commitment about not only just the great coffee that I get people because of how happy it makes them, but the number of different kinds of things that we can do throughout this life that can also make people happy. It's not just about putting a cup of coffee in front of them.
Yeah, you're giving people, you're not giving people a cup of coffee. You're giving them an experience. You're shifting their energy. You're creating opportunities for smiles, which are incredibly important. I love how you say everything we do has to like affect everything around us, right? It's not just about a product. It's about shifting someone's state, right?
Absolutely. So the fair trade, because we do fair trade coffee on purpose, and this whole thing lends itself very much to the rise and grind about what you do. Somebody gets something out of it that's not just about rise and grind. It's about something to affect their lives. So when we do fair trade coffees, these coffees actually supply a much higher price tag to the farmers themselves, so that farmers in way up in the mountains in Colombia who have never had an economy can actually now create a thriving economy. And then those coffees get processed in these centralized co-ops, and those co-ops build schools and health clinics in the middle of jungles where they've never had them before.
Amazing.
That affects people and communities and kids and all of these different kinds of things simply because I chose to buy that bean instead of a cheaper bean that doesn't provide for the people who grow it.
That's pretty incredible, and the network and the connections and the way you've been able to put that together. You have your 6 areas, right? You're like happy people, happy kids, happy communities, happy tummies, happy planet, right? And happy people overall, happy together. Now, I know in order for you to build this, I know you've gone and like seen these places. You've touched these kids. You've experienced this, right? Like these schools in these jungles and the impact that what you're creating is having on a global scale. So I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. Maybe share 1 or 2 of your experiences that you've had, overseas in some of these other countries. Maybe something memorable.
Well, the Rwanda. So there's a coffee plantation in Muhando in Rwanda, where and Rwanda comes out of we're talking about civil war, 30 years ago, 35 years ago, right? They come out of this and the co-op in Rwanda, a portion of the proceeds that come out of the co-op, this is after they've already paid the farmers, the portions of them that come out of the co-op actually builds schools for girls, which is not something that was ever offered in Rwanda. This is a completely different thing. In Senekun, in the northern part of Colombia that borders Guatemala, these are very difficult places to get to. And it's grown by almost all indigenous people, right? This is about happy together. This is about this diversity. Without all the colors and shades and amazing different diversity of people, we would never have this amazing coffee, because they don't grow it in Ohio and they don't grow it in Massachusetts, right? They grow coffee in these tropical, subtropical areas, and that's where we get it from. And so in Senekun, where these indigenous people never really had much of anything, now they have this thriving economy. They've built a hospital, they built schools, they actually bus people to the larger metropolitan areas, which are 1,500, 2,000 feet down,
right?
Just so they can go to college, so that they can go to the hospital for major surgeries if they need it. These are things that were never available. Peru, the coffee plantations where we get the coffee in Peru are straight across the mountains about 100 miles north of Machu Picchu, grown by almost all indigenous Incan people, and they're water processed, and they're dried on these patios that are made from a terracotta brick that is made from an ancient Incan recipe. And you just can't get that kind of culture and diversity anywhere. And you leave Peru and it completely changes how they do things in Guatemala and how they do things in Colombia, just because country to country and Africa and all of that kind of stuff. And of course, it's fairly difficult and a little bit dangerous to go to some of these places.
Yeah, sure.
Honduras, one of the biggest problems that we have in Honduras, for instance, is the trafficking, the human trafficking. And the coffee industry, the fair trade coffee industry in Copan in Honduras has created an environment where they now have a safe place to live, a safe city, a safe place to actually create an economy. They have restaurants, coffee shops, coffee farms all over the place. And they've been able to make it a safe place so you don't have to worry about whether or not your daughter is kidnapped. And I know that that's a heavy thing to talk about,
Sure.
but it's something that we have to address. And how do we help that? But by providing an economy that makes their world safe. And that's an enormous thing. And so what we do by buying coffee in Honduras is we mitigate the issues that at least a fair portion of the Honduran people can get helped out of those kinds of adverse situations.
Golly, man. So much more than just a cup of coffee.
It's heavy, but it's a good thing to do those kinds of things, especially when it's hard to discuss. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. If it's hard to talk about, then it's something we should be concerned with, right? It's something we're going to have to do something about. If it's hard to talk about, then we need to do something about it. And I love how you've been able to make all of those connections to where literally a coffee bean is transforming cultures and civilizations. And that is so powerful when you say like the Incan, the bricks and the history behind it. You're just like, holy smokes. And so what's super cool is you've been able to pull this together in such a special way, in such an impactful way. You're doing this out of Paris, Kentucky, and now you and I have joined forces where we can take our Rise and Grind community that we have here that is all about, we got some coffee drinkers in the Rise and Grind community. And so being able to pull it together to not only change their state, but also be able to fulfill portions of your mission through Happy People Coffee. And we're tied in with Rescue One Global, which is battling human sex trafficking out of Nashville, Tennessee. And so every single bag of hashtag Rise and Grind coffee will go to supporting Happy People as well as Rescue One Global. Super excited about that. There's a link right there. You might see it in your feed. If you go to riseandgrindgear.com, you can order some of this coffee right now. It's out. Steven's making it. He'll be making it fresh. We'll be shipping it out. You'll have plenty of it ready for you for the holidays, so you can dive into that. But Steven, I want to go a little bit deeper. I mean, it's such a big story. Like what you do is such a big story. There's so many pieces, connections, and things that you had to learn, and so on and so forth, right? So, like, how did you get started? How did you get started, man? It's so big now. But how did you get started, and what, what's that journey been like for you?
Well, the brand itself, when you talk about the different kinds of the happy faces themselves and what they mean, really are a piece of who I am, and they come out of who I am. The simple story, however, is I just couldn't find coffee. I went everywhere looking for really good coffee. So I started working for a coffee roastery in 1993. So I've been at this for quite some time. Have opened a lot of different restaurants, did restaurant consulting, all those kinds of things. Really wanted kind of my own thing. One day I brought some coffee home that I thought was pretty good, and it came out dry and brittle and just wasn't fresh. It wasn't good. And I had a temper tantrum. And my wife said, "What is the matter with you?" And I said, "I can't find good coffee. This coffee just doesn't make me happy." And she said, "Why don't you just open a coffee roastery?" And I said, "Are you giving me permission to open a coffee roaster?" And she said, "Yes." And I went out and opened a coffee roastery.
Wow, man. You said
That's the simple story.
This coffee is not making me happy. And so
Right.
you became committed to making yourself happy through the coffee.
Well, and we
I love
sat
that.
down, and we sat down and talked about different brand names and how are we going to do this and all this kind of stuff. And we had discussed all the different things about making people happy and all that kind of stuff. And I talked about how, making it ecologically good and sustainable was really, really important, that we really needed to talk about a happy planet.
Yeah.
And then I said, wait a second, let's just do Happy People Coffee.
Right.
And from there, everything else just expanded. What we do for communities, not just globally, but locally. We make our own cocoa, Happy Kids Cocoa,
Right.
And proceeds of that go to No Kid Hungry, to help buy free breakfast and free lunch programs for kids in schools.
Amazing.
All those kinds of things just come together and really, really make it important. And to me, there's no greater resource than our children. We can do some things that can impact today, but we can do 100 million things that'll impact tomorrow.
Amen to that. And I want to make sure nobody misses this. Don't miss this, because this is one of the things Stephen and I have in common that I challenge all of you. So Stephen was like, I can't find coffee. I'm not happy when I'm drinking my coffee. Therefore, I am going to go fix it myself, right? Like, I'm going to go do something about it. I'm not just going to sit here and complain about it. I'm going to go do something about it. Double checks with the boss, right? Which, I have to do the same thing. We double check with the boss. Boss says it's good, and then he takes actions. Didn't know anything about it, didn't know what direction to go, didn't have it all mapped out, didn't have a plan, and now he's been able to create something around his core values that is making a global impact on the next generation and generations to come. Don't miss that. Hashtag Rise and Grind. Very similar. I was like, dude, social media is nothing but negativity and violence. And versus sitting there and complaining about it, I was like, what if we create a space for motivation, education, and inspiration so we could change the way people start their day? I checked with the boss. Hey, honey, said, all right, if I just start going live at I don't know what time. And we figured out what time, right? And that decision and taking action on it, didn't know where we were going with it, didn't know what direction it was going to take us. And now here we are going on 3 years, and it's made global impact. So I challenge you this morning, my Rick Tamburinos and my Vicky Everetts, and there's 190 people watching live right now on Black Friday morning. I just challenge you to take a look, right? What is that thing that you're like, the world needs more of this, right? And then just go after it, man. Figure it out. Check with the boss and then go after it. I got to include that part. Always check with the boss. But then go after it and attack it. Man, you mentioned a little bit earlier, like your morning routine. You weren't happy with you were getting up, you were drinking your coffee, you weren't happy about that. Morning routines. I'm a big fan and advocate of morning routines. I'm assuming you probably are as well, being a coffee connoisseur. Tell us a little bit about your morning routine. How do you start your day?
Well, I start my day like just about everybody with family. So we have to get everybody going, and I live on a farm, and so we have to feed everybody. And that's kind of the morning routine. But there's honestly nothing more beautiful than Kentucky horse country in early morning when you're out feeding the horses and the sun is coming up and all of the animals are gathered around coming to get food, including the kids, right? And everybody's gathering around and the sun's coming up and it's beautiful and we're getting ready for school, and that's the way all of that works. Of course, we make coffee, but a huge part of that is meditating on where my day is going to go and thinking through it and making sure that we're all ready before I sit and really start writing down, before I check what I did the day before. So at the end of the day, and we make that list for tomorrow and the next week. I'm big into making sure that I know where my goals are, where they're going, and how we're going to get there.
That's right.
And so I start all of that every morning. Have to do a little bit for your health. Part of that is getting out and wandering around, walking around, doing a little bit of stretch, a little bit of meditation and motivation.
Right.
And that's a huge part of that day. And it always helps if you can actually succeed in getting those children motivated to start their day. If they're happy and ready to move, it certainly helps you ready to move your day along.
I agree. 1,000,000%. And Stephen, man, it's fascinating to me. No matter how many interviews I've done, no matter how many people I've talked to, no matter how often, I'm the morning routine guy, right? Like I'm a lot of people's alarm clock. That's what I do for a
Yep.
living, right? So wake people up. And so, but I still find it fascinating that morning routines of successful people, they always have the same three things in common, right? It's attacking mind, body, and spirit first thing in the morning, man. When you paint that picture of all the animals coming around, and and it's beautiful, it's early morning, like that's a spiritual moment. You're
Yeah.
grounded there, right? Like that's a spiritual thing. And then as far as the mind, when you talk about writing down your goals and making sure that you have a plan, that's stimulating your mind to be creative and to be able to move you in the direction that you're looking to go. And then you also mentioned some meditation, right? Some meditation. And then you talked about going out and walking and moving and getting the body moving. That's the key, man. Mind, body, spirit. We talk about the morning five simple steps to an extraordinary life. And I wrote that book to help just gives people some guardrails on basically those three things, right? Because sometimes if you're like, you got to attack mind, body, spirit, people look at you like, yeah, so we just kind of map it out with the morning five, but that's really what it does. Gratitude, goals, getting the body in motion, sending out encouraging messages. It just attacks those three aspects. Steven, stay right here for just a second because I'm not done with you yet. Hey, guys, that's my man, Steven Swisher. If you're in Paris or Lexington or anywhere in central Kentucky, you got to go by his shop and check it out, man. The flavors in there are amazing. The smells in there are incredible. It's an incredible place. He has pictures of children from all like around the world that they've been able to help and impact, and all these different places they've traveled. Like it's really beautiful. It's really beautiful. So if you're in the area, make sure you go check that out. All right. Now I always want to be respectful of people's morning routines. And here it is. It's 6 o'clock. I know you might have to go at this point. You might have to jump out. You might have to take off. You might have to get going. Totally get that if that's the case. I do want to remind you before you head out that today is Black Friday, and everything in our store is going to be 20% off today and today only. Planners, 20% off. The new Rise and Grind coffee in partnership with my man Steven is on there, 20% off today, right? Coffee mugs, hats. We've even got these new tumblers that are amazing. Laser engraved, hashtag Rise and Grind right there on the leather. It's incredible. All right. So if you've got to get out of here, I get it. If you need more videos like this, you can go to glennlundy.com. Know that you have in you the ability to go out and make an impact in other people's lives. Those core value things, those passions, those things that just irk you a little bit, right? Go out there and do something about it and make a massive impact. You can do it. I believe in you. You are a child of God, the God of the universe, the God that made everything. And that God has given you the ability and the responsibility to go out there and create. So have an amazing, powerful, over-the-top weekend. Now, for the rest of you that don't need to jump out of here right away, I'm going to go back to my man, Steven. Oh, he just walked out. He had to go walk off for just a second. But for those of you that are going to stick around for just a second, I'm going to ask Steven a couple other questions, and then we'll let the rest of y'all go. Steven, what makes your coffee so different? Right, the coffee it wasn't making you happy. You
Wouldn't
didn't
make me
like it.
happy.
Didn't like, but your coffee now makes you happy. Everyone can see the smile on your face. So, what makes your coffee different than what you were drinking before?
Well, we roast everything fresh every 3 to 5 days here. It's as fresh as you can get. Everything is done right in the front of our shop. You can watch it through the window. You can come in and watch us do it. You can smell it. We do, like I said, we get coffee from probably 18 different countries, and we roast everything to 6 different roast levels. So we have light, kind of light, medium dark, dark, really dark coffee. We blend things together. We make all kinds of different coffee. The Rise and Grind coffee that we made specifically, we made to make your people happy, right? All of this stuff, and along with the initiative that goes with that coffee, that Honduran bean that we talked about earlier,
Yep.
that's inside your coffee. It matches that whole thing, and
Right.
so, and the best part about that is that everybody can come in here, and we stand in front of the coffee, and I say, "What do you like?" I don't say you should drink this coffee, which is the way a lot of coffee shops are nowadays. We have two coffees, pick one, right? We don't do that. I say, what do you like? And I work throughout building that relationship with you to find the coffee that makes you smile in the morning, that makes you happy. And from a spiritual experience, we talk about globally how we can do this global thing that is a spiritual experience for the people whom we're, that we're helping, and for us as well. But that local spiritual experience, just seeing the smile on somebody's face
Yeah,
that we
man.
get out of finding that coffee that makes them happy, that one person happy for them, there's nothing like that in the world. It's fantastic.
I
Sharing the
agree.
smiles.
I agree, man. I don't even drink coffee, and I want a cup of coffee right now, so bad. Like just seeing you when you talk about that experience like that, like that's what I want to capture, right? And I'm not even a caffeine drinker, and so it's amazing how you've been able to really take your personality and your passion and your core values and your desire to make an impact and everything that makes you you, you've been able to really inject that versus following an old traditional model or doing things the same way as everyone else. Instead, you've really created something impactful. I mean, if you can make people happy, that's a big deal.
And that's what's more important. It's not really important to be hip. It's not really important to follow anybody else's guidelines or what they say on the internet, what the media is talking about. It's important that you follow the people in front of you, people in your lives. You do what makes them happy regardless.
Do what
And that's
makes
how we build what we do, right?
That's it. Hey, if Steven's making you happy this morning, do me a favor, drop a like or a love or a big happy smiley face or any of those things. I love feeling your energy. I can see you. So when you drop that, like we can feel it, right? It's all an energy exchange. And so drop those hearts, drop those likes, drop that love. And what I also need you to do is blow Steven up today. All right. He didn't know I was going to tell you this. He's probably going to get mad at me later. He's going to be like, Glenn, I couldn't get anything done. But I want you guys to follow him. Look up Happy People Coffee. Follow their page on Facebook. Follow him. Like him. Send him encouraging messages. Lift him up. Do all those things. He spends every day going out trying to make people happy. That's what he does. So the least we can do, because it is not easy to come on hashtag Rise and Grind at 5:30 in the morning. I'll let you know that. The least we can do is blow him up and make sure that he's smiling today as well. Steven, I need you to do me one big favor before we let you go. I am going to put you up on top of a mountain real quick. All right. You're on top of a mountain. It's an old Incan mountain, right? Somewhere out there. I don't know enough geography to really go there, but you probably do, right? But there's
We're
probably
in Peru. I got you.
There we go. We're in Peru. We're on top of a mountain, and all of civilization, literally all of civilization, is at the base of the mountain. And they're looking up at you and they're cheering, right? They're like, Steven, Steven, Steven. And they've all got like Rise and Grind mugs, right? They got their Rise and Grind mugs and they got their Happy People coffee in there, right? And they're cheering, Steven, Steven, Steven. And they walk over and they hand you a microphone. And they say, all right, Steven, you got 2 minutes. 2 minutes to drop some practical application wisdom on all of civilization. Something that they can apply in their life today, this week, this month, this year. What are you going to tell them?
I'm going to tell them that follow your heart and your passion. Follow what makes you happy and work toward it with all of your passion and all of your power. And always make sure that I'm up here on this mountain because of you, and I'm here for you. And if you follow your passion and you follow it to help other people, you will always, always, always find a kind of salvation.
I love it. Follow your heart, follow your passion, do it aggressively to help others. Do the thing that makes you happy, but ultimately to help others, because that's what it's all about. It's all about making an impact in other people's lives. And Steven, you're doing that. You're doing that with Happy People Coffee. I'm so
Trying
excited.
every day.
Grind every day. That's right. I'm so happy to be partnered up with you to be able to bring our Honduran beans and happy faces to Rising Grinders all across the United States and beyond. Super excited. I so appreciate you, sir. You're an incredible human being. Clearly, right? Clearly a child of God, uniquely made in his image to be the best version of yourself you can be. And you're out there doing it. You're living it every single day. And I stinking love you for it, brother. I absolutely stinking love you, man.
And we love you, man. Thanks for being there to help us rise and grind every day.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. You're incredible. Listen, guys, that is my man, Steven Swisher with Happy People Coffee. Check him out. Blow him up. If you haven't done so already, share this out. What better way for people to start their day than with this right here on Black Friday, November 27, 2020. So hit the share button if you haven't done so already. Maybe tag a friend. And right now, before you go get crazy, before your day gets all busy, you need to go to riseandgrindgear.com because you're going to kick yourself in the tail if you forget. Go to riseandgrindgear.com. 20% off everything today. 20% off the coffee, 20% off the mugs, 20% off the new quarterly planners and the annual planners, 20% off the jackets and the hoodies and the hats and all the stuff. 20%, one day only. Don't be coming at me tomorrow like, oh, dude, I forgot. Can I still get 20%? No, not happening, Captain. All right, one day only. So go do it. Go do it now. Have an incredible, over-the-top, amazing, spectacular, phenomenal, just such a memorable day. Go out there and do it. And then come back here again on Monday because we're going to do this all over again with a brand new series on hashtag Rise and Grind. You're incredible, my friends. Have a great day. I absolutely stinking love ya. See ya.